right, I'll call to order the meeting of Mayor and Council. Thank you all for being here today, and those online, if you will rise for the invocation followed by the pledge. Almighty God, we just give you great thanks and praise for the country we live in and the freedoms we have. We are such a blessed people, and we thank you for this opportunity that you've given us here to serve our community in this way. May we honor you with what we say and the decisions we make here tonight. And we ask this all in Jesus' name. Everybody says, Amen. Amen. Please say, standing for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May be seated. Okay, as a reminder, we have an executive session tonight to discuss personnel and negotiations. Do we have any changes to tonight's agenda?
No, sir, we do not.
Okay, you've all received the minutes from our last meeting on June 23rd, or if there are no changes, I'll accept the motion to receive the minutes.
Mr. Mayor, I make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Councilman Coyle, second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, okay, it's unanimous. All right, at this time, we're going to call up Mr. Thomas. He wanted to come and have a couple words here this evening before we started our meeting, and if you'll come right up here to the mic, please.
Hello, my name is James Thomas. I work for one of the refuge companies that service this fine community. April the 10th, approximately 10:30 in the morning, 2018, I was driving a truck, lost consciousness, and crashed into a building. 2 weeks before that, I had just had a full physical. Came out of that physical with flying colors. The only thing they told me was I was going to have to need some cheater eyeglasses. At that time, I was 47, getting ready to turn 48. I'm the only person in my family that don't wear glasses. I'm like, that's nothing. Great, give me the glasses. Well, crashed into the building, and when I came to, I was sitting in Manicoke in the hospital, looking around, laying on my back. I figured it was done. Only thing I saw was white lights, people walking around me in these white coats kind of moving. I figured it was, I punched. No, found out I had a brain tumor. A rare brain tumor, not just a common everyday thing. I had something that you normally do not get, and if you do get it, to get it in your head is even more rare. So on April the 13th, they went into my head for the first time down at PRMC. I got to break in their nice brand new neurosurgeon ward with their nice brand new neurosurgeons who happen to be from this area. I went in and was supposed to have been a 9-10-hour procedure, ended up being a 12-hour adventure in my head where I nearly bled out. And close to 14 to 18 hours before I regained consciousness, for them to tell me that they weren't able to remove the whole tumor. It was quite more involved than what they thought. 32 days later, they go back in my head again on May the 14th, and then back again for May the 15th to extract the whole thing. I'm happy I'm here. I have side effects. Of course, you can't have something like this and not have side effects, but my side effects are very minimum. Very minimum. I came out with 20/20 eyesight. Before they told me I was going to need cheaters. I'm like, wait a minute. And my missus, she's happy now because I don't snore. And before I snored, I sound like a beast in the Middle East somewhere. But now I don't snore. And a great part of it was the response. You had police and paramedics that came and got me out of the vehicle. And I always wanted to thank them, because the only time you ever literally call them is when it's something bad. You don't ever call them to say, hey, come on over and get a beer, barbecue, hey, what y'all doing? Come get a burger. No, you call and tell them, my cat's stuck in a tree. I crashed into a building. Somebody broke into my house. That's when you called them. But no, this is the time I wanted to call them. Thank you. Thank them for the response. Thank them for extracting me out of that vehicle, because I ain't no little dude. And I've been wanting to try to figure out, I did end up with some bruising, but I figure I'm 6 foot even, 200 and some pounds. This was a big refuge truck. I probably didn't come out pretty easy. I'm going to guess it was kind of, if they dropped me a couple times, I wouldn't have blamed them. I bounced. I'm okay. They were bruises, they ain't nothing. I mean, I've had worse. But I just wanted to say thank you to them.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time. I do want to recognize a few of the folks that were specifically involved from Seaford Fire. We had Jason Hudson and Robin Andino, and from Sussex County Paramedics, we had Paula Moore and Chris Hilliard. And from Seaford PD, we had Wingate and Sterner officers that were on the scene. But really, any of our officers, any of our EMS, any of our folks with the fire volunteer service would do the exact same thing. And it's rare that someone takes the time, as you have done, to make an effort to come here and specifically and publicly say thank you is really incredible. So I thank you for coming and making this effort. We would like to invite you guys up to get a picture with Mr. Thomas, just to memorialize this moment, because again, this is,
Please, come on.
it's great to say thank you. Councilman Henderson, will you come up as well? And Chief,
I
would you come down?
don't remember y'all at all. Y'all probably have better memories of it than I do. Because, like I said, by the time I came to,
Come stand right out front, and
front of,
you're going to be right in the center.
I don't care.
Right here. We'll get you right in the middle, and everybody else can kind of get around you. That's good.
We were just dripping sweat on each other. We were just dripping sweat on each other for about 10 minutes.
Okay, I don't care.
Everybody smile.
Yeah, that's gonna make a big difference. Come on, I'm working a trash truck. Do you think sweat is my biggest concern? Maggots and all the common. Yeah, that's the least of my concerns. Thank you. Understand. Like I said, I don't know how y'all got me out of that truck. I just,
This big guy right here.
you have to. Because that truck, where I was sitting at was about that high.
Yeah.
And I'm 200 plus pounds. I know I didn't come out easy.
It was slightly graceful.
I mean, I can't fall no further. But that's all that matters. Like I said, I've had three of them. I'm here.
Yeah, that's good. You know, I was just thinking about you a couple weeks ago, so I was kind of wondering whatever happened, because I remember seeing, it was just a strange situation, like a garbage truck into a building.
Yeah. And then all the rumors, of course. I heard all the rumors once I got a little bit that I was drunk, I was on drugs, and I'm like, damn, if I was on drugs drunk that early?
I don't think any of us call that at all.
No, I'm just trying to figure out, I'm like, oh, what was I drinking? I need to quit a lot sooner. Because the hangover board ain't gonna do something. But
Yeah.
that was 3 surgeries.
Wow. And everything's good now, or what's the...
I have stupid side effects, okay? I have no sense of smell, no sense of taste.
Oh.
I've had that for close to 2 years, big deal.
Yeah.
No, it's not corona, it's not. Be my luck, I catch that, I end up with my sense of smell and sense of taste. I'm gonna be happy. I can finally eat food and enjoy the flavors. But that's it. If that's the worst thing that I have to deal with, I had a rare brain tumor. The tumor it was so rare that they literally stuck it in the freezer for the last 2 years, and just last month pulled it out of the freezer to do a genetics DNA tracking of the type of tumor it was, because you're not supposed to get them here. You get them in other parts of your body,
Right.
but to get one in your brain to the extent that mine was, and it was not a small tumor, it was the size of a clementine. I had no warning signs. I hadn't had no blurry vision, no headaches, nothing that would sit there and say that this was the problem. But to end up, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm on this side of the dirt. Every day, I get to look in the mirror, and like you said, Chief, this is my beauty mark.
There you go.
That's all it is. I'm not even worried about this. Your officers and everybody else, I'm here.
Well, we're happy that you're-
Every day. Yes, I praise them every day. Because they brought them to me. I didn't come to them looking for them, believe it. That was not my thought that morning at 4 o'clock when I got up to go to work. Was, yeah, I'm going to go to the hospital today and have them crack my head open a couple of days. But, yeah. This is the
Thank you, too, for coming. That was fantastic. I'm glad you're doing it.
It's not every day you get to see what happens, what happens by the full or even find out about it.
three brain surgeries, and I was back to work in less than 6 months.
Wow.
You figure that happened in April,
Yeah.
October of that same year, I was back in my truck.
Wow.
I was like, nah, you ain't getting me. I was determined,
That's awesome.
because they kept telling me that I wasn't supposed to do certain things, and she'll tell you the first thing you can do is tell me I ain't. Nah, you telling me I'm not going to, I'm going to embrace the suck.
Good for you.
There you go. I'm going to embrace, what, that's it? No, this ain't it. It's just getting good.
Amen.
I guess y'all have to go back and go pull another cat out the tree.
Thank you so much.
I want to laugh.
That's awesome. Okay.
It's a habit.
Do we have any correspondence?
No, sir, we do not.
All right, so let's go on to new business number 1, which is the appointment of an annexation committee.
Okay, so in your package, you have the annexation application that we received for 22512 Sussex Highway. That is formerly known as the Sunrise Motel. So as is required under our charter, the first step after that is received is for the mayor to appoint an annexation committee.
Okay, are there any questions in reference to the annexation committee? If not, I'll accept the motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make the motion to appoint Vice Mayor Henderson as chair, Councilman Holland and Councilman McCoy to serve on the annexation committee to investigate the possibility of annexation of SMTMP number 331-3.00-180.00, 22512 Sussex Highway, Sunrise Motel as presented.
Okay, Councilman King has made a motion. Do we have a second?
Councilman Santos, I'll second that.
Can we have a second? Tracy, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Santos,
Aye.
Councilman Henderson,
Aye.
Councilman Holland,
Aye.
Councilman McCoy,
Aye.
Councilman King.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you guys for your willingness to serve on that. All right, next we have Director of Public Works, Mr. Burley Mears, here on a recommendation of a change in speed limit.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
So not a whole lot really to present, other than, I think you've seen in your packet that we have a request from a resident out in Muirfield. They had 2 requests. We broke it down. Just right now, we're going to address the request to put a speed limit and no children parking or no children signs up. So I did survey the area, and for whatever reason, that development does not have any speed limit or any additional signs, really. There's no signposts other than stop signs out there, so.
Okay.
I believe there was some originally required, but through the years, it took a long time before it actually got dedicated to the city, so I'm not sure what happened. But anyway, so I made a recommendation to put on each end of the 2 streets out there, speed limit and the no children at play signs.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward.
Are there any questions for Mr. Mears in reference to the speed limit signs? If not, I'll accept the motion.
All right, Mr. Mayor, this is Councilman King. I will make the motion, the recommended motion to approve the recommendation of Burley Muir's Director of Public Works regarding the installation of 15-mile-per-hour speed limit signs and children at play warning signs in the Muirfield development portions of Planter Drive and Palmview Lane as presented.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Orlando Holland, Mr. Mayor, I second that motion.
Okay, thank you very much. Tracy, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Santos,
Aye.
Councilman Henderson,
Aye.
Councilman Holland,
Aye.
Councilman McCoy,
Aye.
Councilman King.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Burley, what's the time frame on that?
I would say 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay, very good. Thank you so much. All right, next we have the change that was presented back in June to the pension plan going forward for future employees.
And June's going to present.
Director Merritt.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, try to talk without getting this in my mouth. All right, so in your packet, you have the information regarding our pension, the general employee pension plan. On June 9th, our actuaries, Buck Consultants, was here, and they did a presentation regarding some proposed plan design changes. And those 3 changes were, one was change the final averaging period from 3 to 5 years, cap the service at 30 years, because currently there was no cap, and to increase the employee contribution from 5 to 7%. That's a mandatory contribution. So there's those 3 things, and we're bringing it back to you. You can either choose to adopt all 3 of those. You can pick and choose which options you might want to approve to make changes to the general employee pension plan. Those changes would be effective January the 1st, 2021. And anyway, so if you have any questions or...
Yeah, just one thing to point out, these are changes that would impact future employees, not our current workforce.
Correct.
That is correct.
Are there any questions for Director Merritt in reference to the changes for future employees on our pension plan? If not, I'll accept the motion.
Councilman McCoy, I'll make the motion to approve the following plan design changes. A, change the final averaging period from 3 to 5 years. B, cap service of 30 years. C, increase the employee contribution from 5% to 7% as presented by Buck Consultants on June 9th, 2020 to the General Employee Pension Plan, and authorize Buck Consultants to draft the pension plan amendment language for council approval as presented.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Councilman Henderson, I second.
Okay, we have a second. Tracy, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Santos,
Aye.
Councilman Henderson,
Aye.
Councilman Holland,
Aye.
Councilman McCoy,
Aye.
Councilman King.
Aye.
It's unanimous, and again, I want to thank you guys for that. That will impact future budgets of this city greatly, so it's a big decision without impacting our current employees, so thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you,
Thank
June,
you.
for the work you did on
And
this.
just as a side note, we will be coming back once they have the draft language prepared for
Okay.
final approval.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Okay, Mr. Anderson, do we have any old business?
No, sir, we do not.
And I take it we don't have any meetings?
No, sir, not this time. We do not.
Councilman Santos, that's an unusual thing that we don't have a block full of meetings, certainly in the fall starting up. That's really unusual, so strange times we're in. All right, with that, we'll go to committee reports, and we'll start off with Councilman Henderson with Police and Fire.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've submitted my report in its entirety. I'll give just some brief highlights. We have some notes from Fire Chief Wilson's reports. Alarms to date as of July 14th, there were 377 fire rescue calls and 1,706 EMS calls. He reports that they've responded to many calls for the smoke testing. They were dispatched as working type calls and reduced after investigations of the structures. Under apparatus, ambulance B87 is out of service for air conditioning repairs. There's some news to report from the EMS department. Career Captain Jason Hudson was recently awarded the Sussex County Paramedics Association's 2019 Excellence Award, and Career Firefighter EMT, it's missing, but I believe that was Larry Whaley. Mr. Larry Whaley was awarded the 2019 Clifford E. Lee Senior EMS Award, and it was presented at the Sussex County Paramedic Headquarters on July 9th. Under events, the Seaford Volunteer Fire Department assisted the Bridgeville Station 72 with the Independence Day celebration at Fat Daddy's. And they're still doing a few limited social distancing drive-bys for celebrations of significant events, birthdays and retirements and others. Below, you'll see some reports with some totals that was provided by Second Assistant Chief Tom LeCates for the month of June. You can see the distribution of the number of calls and the days and times in there. And the next page or the next section, you can see the types of alarms, the different distribution of the types of alarms. Move on to police activity. Chief Kraft has, you can see the reports for the crime in the crime table. We're just about halfway through the year with a total of total crimes of 3,015. The same period, the total for last year was in 2019 was 6,619. So we're trailing a little bit, which is good news, and we hope that trend continues. You can see we had 291 complaints last month with an 89.6 clearance rate, and if you can blow this up, the crime data chart will show you the distribution at times and days of these events. Moving down to traffic, there were 351 traffic contents resulting in 138 citations, and you can see the number of and the distribution there. There were 35 crashes. Fortunately, all 35 crashes were non-injury related crashes. Below you can see some of the significant events which happened over the period between June 21st all the way up till July 13th, which was yesterday. Training continues. They're continuing to follow the Attorney General's guidance related to the Governor's declaration of the state of emergency. They're doing some virtual training, and the significant training on the 1st of July was LIDAR training. They got 6 officers trained, and that's train the trainer training, right? Yeah. So that's these officers were trained so that they can train others in the department and outside organizations as well. Some of the events, the chief as well as some of us also on June 25th participated in a roundtable discussion at the Church of God, and the Seaford Police Department continues to support volunteerism by assisting the Nanticoke Senior Center with meal deliveries to our homebound community members on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That concludes the report. I would like to say that I was honored last evening to attend the law enforcement rally at the Circle of Georgetown, which was, there were hundreds of people there, and it's a model of what peaceful assembly should look like. There was, it was something to behold. It was, and I was proud to be there and honored as well. So that concludes my report.
We appreciate you being there representing Seaford. Thanks, Dan. All right, next we'll go to Administration IT with Councilman Santos.
Thank you, Mayor. My report has been submitted in its entirety. The meetings that were attended were the Water Infrastructure Advisory Meeting held in Milford, the United Sewer District Progress Meeting, the Employee Awards Event Meeting, the Board of Adjustments Meeting, and the SCAT Steering Committee. It was held by Zoom. There were inspections done at the roof, for the roof framing replacement at the Police Department garage. And they went to M&T Bank with June to make an account transfer. For my IT report, they completed camera migration and server configurations. They completed the storage server relocation project. They worked on command vehicle configurations and updated its technology. They met with contractors and police department to prepare access control installations. For the administration report, June successfully performed the duties of acting city manager. Let's see. They provided the deposit account documentation to the Community Bank of Delaware, and they are preparing for the city's annual audit, and all other business was routine.
Okay.
That concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Next we'll have Codes, Parks, and Rec. Councilman Holland.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On the code side, they issued 195 issue permits, 559 rental license issued, 1,608 was individual units, 596 were homes, and 1,012 was apartments. And they are busy doing violation inspections throughout the city. And Wawa's work has been delayed due to COVID-19. And Melanie's Ridge curbing and road work finished. They are waiting for Del Dot entrance installation. And on the park side, they had completed doing regular grass cutting and trash pickup. They replaced the fencing around Pavilion at Serottman's Park. And their Barton's is beginning irrigation replacement at Kiwanis. And they also have field hockey set up for ages 5 for youth tennis. And Mr. Mayor, that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you very much. Next we'll have Electric with Councilman McCoy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had a few highlights here. Over the last few weeks, they replaced a pole on 3rd Street from an accident. Jordan Marvel completed groundman training. Made up the primary terminators and elbows at the Dolby lift station. Ed worked on the estimate for Melanie's Ridge. Held a pole on Poplar Street while the Public Works Department installed a sewer connection. Had the COVID-19 Unified Command conference calls. Held a staff meeting and had a meeting with Charles and GMB about the building expansion. They also got the DSA flags to Sarah Lee for repair. Met with Craven Construction on their site in the industrial park. And they had a week's vacation. Over the next few weeks, the game plans are going to work on the new Dolby lift station, continue changing the lights on Sussex Highway to LED, finish trimming trees in Williams Pond Park, and work with the school on the lights in front of Central Elementary School. Mr. Mayor, the report has been submitted in its entirety.
Okay, thank you very much. And finally, we have Public Works and Wastewater, Councilman King.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. My report has been submitted in its entirety. I'm just going to hit some of the high-value activities and bullet points. The Public Works Department reports that they had rebuilt the Seaford Village lift station pump. Route 13 water main extension is going well. Force main and pump station installation for the Unified Sewer District is continuing. The waste water treatment facility and compost, the plant is performing good. They do have compost for sale by appointment. And some of the projects coming up over the next few weeks, the Church of God parking lot paving should start. They received the Montessori School entrance bid, and replacing fire hydrants is ongoing. And with that, that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you very much. I do want to make a comment. I know probably some of you aren't riding around like you used to, but the infrastructure projects that are going on in our town now are incredible, between what's going on out at 13 and what's going on out at the Montessori School. It's just incredible things, along with the Oyster House project is gearing up. Proud of our team for keeping all that stuff moving forward even during these unusual times, so appreciate it. With that, I'll accept a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel and negotiations.
Councilman McCoy, I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Councilman Holland, I second that motion.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you. Thanks, bro.
See you, Brian. Thank you.
Enjoy your evening.